and his name is Palmer Luckey. Less well known. Great name. Palmer Luckey, how could he not win? He should be in sales, right? I mean, now, he's not born rich. His dad was a car salesman. His mom actually saw that she had some bright kids, and they homeschooled their kids. Palmer Luckey grew up kind of studying opera at home, but his real passions were two things. It was video games and science fiction. And those two interests kind of coincided, and he became a big, big, big fanboy of virtual reality, the idea of virtual reality. Now, virtual reality is something for 20 years has been failing. Every game company, Hasbro, Nintendo, they all for 20 years have been working on virtual reality, the idea that it's the ultimate game platform. As we all know, basically every single digital innovation either started in games or porn. And this one was going to come out of games, although now it's heading towards porn. So he was really obsessed with virtual reality, and he decided at 19 years old that he's going to have the gumption that he's going to try to finally come up with a virtual reality headset that will work. He needed money, so what he did was he started buying up broken iPhones. Again, a digital genius, kind of an electronics genius. He started finding broken iPhones, buying them, fixing them, and flipping them. He became an iPhone flipper, which I don't think existed as a career path about 10 years ago. And he made about $30,000 flipping iPhones. And he used all that money to start going on eBay and buying a bunch of old junk, because all those old VR prototypes were just being sold to who wanted them. At one point, he bought a $97,000 prototype from 10 years before for $87. So he used the crowd. He took advantage of all these platforms to buy up at pennies on the dollar basically every prototype that's ever been made, basically, in virtual reality. So he had a whole garage, a whole collection of them. Then he got a part-time job at USC, which is he's from LA, and was doing the most cutting-edge work on virtual reality. And he took the job not because he needed the money, he was making more money with the iPhones, but because it gave him access to all this information, because the USC platform was open source. And everybody was fine with sharing. And so all of a sudden, here he is, this kid, 19, turning 20 years old, and he was already at third base in terms of where the technology is. Nothing was proprietary. Everybody was sharing everything. He was sharing everything. He started tinkering around and started posting his problems on different forums and saying, hey, I'm working on this. Who can help me? So he embraced what is another key core mindset that we all need to embrace for success today, which is the idea of sharing, the idea of collaboration, the idea that when we're all used to, it's us against them, we're selling something, we got to beat the other guy. This kind of frenemies idea, there's something to it, where they were all sharing, everybody was sharing, and so he was eventually getting somewhere. He had a huge amount of information he got shared from USC. He had a huge amount of equipment that he amalgamated through the power, the crowdsourcing power of eBay. And then when he finally thought he was in a position to make some stuff, nobody would give him any money. It just, who's this 20-year-old kid who's just invented this headset? So he went to Kickstarter, which is a crowdfunding platform, and he had what turned out to be the most successful Kickstarter campaign ever. He raised $2.4 million. He said, give me in $300 increments. He said, for $300, when I'm done with my prototype, I'll sell you one. He's basically doing pre-sales. So he raised $2.4 million and didn't have to give up any equity. He still owned the whole company. He raised $2.4 million. And not only that, but by doing all these pre-sales, what he was doing when he started sending his what he now calls the Oculus Rift, when he starts sending these out, he's developed a user base and a platform so that now people start developing their own tweaks on it, and so he's got an entire ecosystem. All through sharing, crowdsourcing, sharing. He's right up there with Kevin Systrom. He had no revenue because he didn't have any you guys working with him. He didn't have a revenue model, but he had something that had the potential to change the world. So Mark Zuckerberg came calling for this guy. Kevin Systrom was 28 and got $1 billion. Palmer Luckey was 21 and got $2 billion. which is, we estimated, the most money ever self-made by the youngest person ever. I mean, who makes that much money self-made when you're 21 years old? He's now worth, you know, he took a lot of it in stock, Facebook stock, so he's worth close to $1 billion now. Even back then, he was worth $600 million when he was 21 years old. It's amazing.